Nigeria continues with the probe into alleged unremitted $49.8 billion oil money, with the investigative panel seeking legal interpretations that could help unravel the truth behind the controversy. The Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, is called to the rescue, but conspicuously missing is Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, suspended CBN governor whose alarm set off the whole process. On whether the NNPC has authority to transfer its oil interest to the NPDC, its subsidiary, Adoke answered in the affirmative. The question was to establish a possible loss of revenue from the Federation account. A major revelation since the probe began is the staggering amount NPDC is paying for kerosene subsidy, some 700 million naira daily. But this panel is bent on knowing who authorized the payment of a subsidy not appropriated for. NNPC had defended his action, referring to Section 7 of the NNPC Act. Adoke's submission backs the position of NNPC. That would include monies paid on kerosene subsidy. But this position remains Adoke's view and not exactly what the Constitution says. Section 162 subsection 1 states the federal government shall maintain a special account to be called the Federation account, into which shall be paid all revenues collected by government of the Federation. On the third issue, Adoke begged for time to answer to whether the NPDC followed due process in engaging strategic partners for the funding of oil blocks assigned to it by NNPC. Both the CBN and NNPC still have to establish how much of $6 billion paid to NPDC should be paid into the Federation account.
Recall also we have said we want written submission on how much out of the 6 billion was Federation and evidence that it has been paid. So I think we should rather wait for them to provide us specifically how much and evidence that it was remitted.
But in a shocking testimony, NPDC opened up to say it had not received such money.
We did not, in NPDC account, receive 6 billion. Like I stated in the letter, NNPC, from the account managed by NNPC, royalties and taxes are paid. We received funds that is required to fund the budget.
The probe will resume on March 6. Omo Bazwaye, AIT News, Abuja.
Thank you very much, distinguished. Sorry?
Mr. Chairman, may I crave your indulgence to take my answer, please? Thank you.
Yeah. Have you gotten the pages?
Well, my senior special assistant.
Why is it? You wait here so that everybody will see.
Can you confirm? Take a date for look at all issues and missions, everything being laid, so that until we receive, as you have done before, no questions for you at this stage, until
the AG. The word net revenue, I want to know the definition of net revenue. Is there any clear definition of allowable expenses deductible from the gross revenue specified in the Act? If that is the position, this definition should be, interpreted in figures so that we can know the components of net revenue due to be remitted to the Federation account out of this 6 billion. Because this is what the committee is only after. We only want to.
Yeah, but distinguished, that was one of the issues I have requested NNPC and NPCT to submit us in writing. And it's one of the things they said, latest by 20 of this month they will do that. It's one, in my address, I said that's one of the outstanding issues. And equally, I have requested CBN that instead of telling us they believe part of it, we want them to be specific. How much of it? Not to say part of, we cannot make use of part of what they believe. Something specific has to be presented to us that we can look and say that is so or that is not so. So we expect submission from both NNPC, NPDC, as well as CBN, very, very clear, specific assertions.
My name is Santuari. Our councils that is better if we get the complete response.
I have my, you gave answers to 3 questions. To me, these questions, you raised them yourself because the committee gave you pages, some pages out of the latest submission of the Central Bank Governor. One of the questions you asked yourself and which you answered is with respect to the whether NPC has the authority to transfer its participating interest. You did say that in your answer that you have been made to understand that all the leukocyte concepts were obtained from the appropriate authority. I want you to kind of expand that a little bit more because that's one. Second question, which you ask yourself, I think is dependent on question 3. Because question 3, which you could not be able to answer because you don't have available information, is the key to answering question 2. Because if the process, due process was not made in these strategic agreements, the question of distributing the revenue not even arise. So, to me, with due respect, I think the answer to question 2 is analytic. To be more precise, the answer is equated to the situation where a conclusion is made without any premises. So, I think we need to answer question 3 before you know the answer for question 2. By far to me, the most important legal opinion we need from you is in respect of page 14, where it was indicated that 7 billion of crude was shipped by NPDC. +1, 6 + 1. It's not on contention that something belongs.
So I may have observed that most of those pages you're referring to are not within the document that was sent to me.
No, the page you did.
You said concepts. No, not all the documents that were sent to me. I only work with the documents that was available to me, and I distill those questions based on my understanding of those advice.
Because the letter, Chairman, the letter to Attorney General specified pages that you have. So I'm basing my questions based on the letter that the committee wrote to you, quoting the actual pages. So
financing model, if not, give an example of where it has been used and how was this put together?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the best of my knowledge, a strategic alliance agreement is not a new concept. We've been operating different financing agreements in the country. We used to have the alternative funding agreement. We have the modified carry agreement. We have service contracts. And all of these are similar to the strategic alliance. The only difference being that in the case of the others, the operator provides the funds, whereas in the strategic alliance agreement, a non-operator, a third party, provides the funding.
NNPC, are you comfortable that the NPDC is saying it has not received $6 billion?
Yes, distinguished Chairman, we've taken the comments on board and we're going to align the legal opinion and the instruments guiding our relationship with our subsidiaries, and then come out clearly with the written submission before the 28th, which will clearly describe how we operate and how the proceeds are managed by the corporation and NPDC.
Okay. What you are saying is that you managed...
We did not, in NPDC account, receive 6 billion. Like I stated in the letter, NNPC, from the account managed by NNPC, royalties and taxes are paid. We received funds that is required to fund the budget.
Recall also we have said we want written submission on how much out of the 6 billion was federation, and evidence that it has been paid. So I think we should rather wait for them to provide us specifically how much and evidence that it was remitted.
My name is Santuari. Our counsels that it's better if we get the complete response.